And what you're fighting is far less dangerous than any Nazi soldier. But from time to time, you will have setbacks. You are going to set goals as a leader, and you will not succeed. So, what do you do? What do you do when you have challenges? What do you do when you have setbacks? Well, I'm going to give you three stories that you need to tell in order to help your team not only bounce back, but spring forward. Here they are. The first story is the story of what we should know from here. An honest assessment goes a long way. As they say, after all, you can't manage what you can't measure. And so, whenever you and your team encounter a setback, the first thing you want to do is to take a step back and analyze, try to get to the bottom, try to discover the truth. Those of you who are like me and are trying to lose a few pounds know that the truth can set you free. The first thing that any nutritional coach is going to ask you to do when you start a transformational weight loss journey is they're not going to ask you to go to the gym. They're not going to ask you to buy new outfits or get more equipment. They're going to ask you to track your calories. Because if you don't know exactly where things went wrong, then you won't know how to set them right. As you step back and assess where your team fell short, as you step back and analyze where you failed, are you truly counting your calories? Or are you skipping over snacks? Are you missing meals? Are you painting a glossy, rosy picture of what happened in the first place? Remember, you can't manage what you do not measure. You've got to tell the story of what went wrong. First story, what should we know from here? Second story, where should we go from here? Clarity reduces chaos. And if you're in leadership, you want to reduce chaos by telling stories that set a clear direction, because a clear direction is going to calm your team. If your team can trust that you know where you're going, then they're going to have a lot easier time following you as they tackle what's next. I on planes all the time. I get on planes all the time. And I can tell you that the most comfortable I am with a flight that has turbulence is when the pilot can announce it before it happens. Why? I figure that if the pilot knows what's coming, even if what's coming is bumpy, then if they know it and they're okay, then I can relax because I'm going to be okay. There's a confidence and a calm that I get when the person in charge knows what's coming next and could communicate that to me clearly and confidently. And you, as the pilot, need to be able to do the same. You need to be able to convey and communicate confidence and calm to your team. Tell the story of where we should go from here. And then finally, you've told the story of what we should know from here and where we should go from here. But lastly, I want you to tell the story of how we will grow from here. I wasn't alive well, I was small. I was alive. I was small when Ronald Reagan challenged Jimmy Carter for the presidency. But history tells us that Reagan won largely because he was able to tell the story of how America can grow as a nation. Times were tough. The economy was down. People were feeling the strain in their homes. People were feeling the stress in their pocketbooks. And President Carter told the truth. He relied on his integrity as an honest president to tell people exactly what was. But as a leader, although the story of what is important, we can't stop there. The story of what is has to give way to the story of what can be. When Ronald Reagan took the stage, he told the story of not just where America was, but he told the story of the potential America had as a shining light on a hill. He pointed the country to where it could be, and the country followed him. That vision lifted him to victory. And communicating a clear vision can do the same for you. If you can tell the story of what we can know from here, of what of where we should go from here and how we should grow from here, then you will tell three stories that will energize your team through any comeback. So, there you have it. Three stories every leader should tell after a setback. And if you're ready to be equipped to tell these powerful stories to your team, then reach out to me. Let's start transforming the way you communicate. Let's harness the power of story together. Thank you.
Wow, Gamal, absolutely amazing. These notes were just so many. I don't know about you in the chat. I don't know about you, Adrian. There were just so many nuggets. The story of what you should know from here, the story of where we should go from here, the story of how we can grow from here. Thank you, Gamal, for helping us understand how our messaging can influence our resilience. And what I loved is the synergy of the information being shared today. I loved it. This is amazing. This is outstanding. And as we get ready to turn the corner and wind down, I want to encourage and inspire a leader, a team, an organization to consider that resilience needs to move from self to system. That true resilience extends beyond individual capacity to organizational culture. So the resilient leader builds distributed intelligence, which is where problems are solved closest to where they arise. The resilient leader builds psychological safety, spaces where people speak truth without fear. The resilient leader is going to build collaborative networks, resources, and information flow to where they are needed. And the resilient leader will build learning orientation, spaces, and opportunities where every challenge becomes a lesson. And these elements create organizations that don't merely withstand pressure, they harness it for innovation and growth. And we got to think about this power paradox. Here's the paradox at the heart of resilient leadership. Power comes not from controlling circumstances, but from controlling your response to them. When we resist pressure, we position ourselves as victims. When we respond with resilience, we reclaim our agency. This shift from reacting to responding is where true power lies. So I want to give you 5 daily practices for resilient leadership. Number 1, begin with breath. Yeah, that's it. Start every day with 3 deep breaths, creating space between stimulus and response. Number 2, I want to encourage you to identify your sphere of influence. Take a moment to regularly ask, what aspects of this situation can I directly influence? And focus your energy there. Number 3, reframe challenges as questions. Instead of stating, this is impossible, ask, how might we approach this differently? Number 4, cultivate deliberate rest. Resilience requires renewal. I'm going to say it again. Resilience requires renewal. You need to schedule recovery time with the same commitment and energy that you give to your most important meetings. And then 5, practice gratitude. End each day identifying 3 positive developments, no matter how small. This trains your brain to recognize opportunity within challenge. And this gives us the ultimate outcome we're trying to achieve, because leaders who master the shift from resistance to resilience transform not only themselves, but everyone around them. They create teams that collaborate rather than blame, organizations that innovate rather than entrench, cultures that energize rather than exhaust. Most importantly, they demonstrate that our greatest achievements don't come despite pressure, but because of it. And when we learn to transform pressure, when we do this, we learn to transform pressure into power. The path of resistance to resilience isn't always easy, but it is always possible. And in today's world, it isn't just an option for exceptional leadership. It's the essential journey we must all undertake. I want to thank you for joining us today in the Resilience Room podcast. Thank you to Adrian Benton and Gamal Alexander, our special guests today. Please follow, like, subscribe, share, interact with them, interact with me on my LinkedIn page at Orville Brissett, Instagram, OSB Coaching and Consulting, YouTube, OSB Coaching and Consulting, Facebook, OSB Coaching and Consulting. Listen, we would love to connect with you. We would love to engage in conversation that supports the journey moving from resistance to resilience. This is Orville Brissett. I provide support for individuals to gain clarity through complexity and leadership to legacy. Until the next time, signing off with my very special guests and my friends, Adrian Benton and Gamal Alexander. This is the Resilience Room podcast. Have a wonderful and resilient rest of your day.
That's it for this episode of the Resilience Room, where leaders like you learn how to bend without breaking and turn transitions into triumphs. Like what you heard? Follow us on Instagram at OSB Coaching and on Facebook at OSB Coaching and Consulting. Want to go deeper? Visit osbcoachingandconsulting.com and let's talk about how you can build clarity, confidence, and a leadership legacy that lasts. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and stay resilient.